The 73rd FIFA Congress will be held today in Kigali, Rwanda, where incumbent FIFA President Gianni Infantino is expected to be re-elected unopposed, and that's with no one feeling really that they could challenge him. And this would be his third term in charge. Well, that's according to everyone else except Gianni Infantino and his camp, who says his first term when he was elected back in 2016 was not really his. He was just finishing the term or the job of former President Sepp Blatter. Remember, after that huge FIFA scandal back in 2015. And I'm joined now by a journalist out in Kigali, Rwanda. Eric Njiru is joining us. Eric, thank you so much for your time this morning. I understand you are already at the venue at the Congress.
Yeah, of course. Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, Africa. We are already at the BK Arena where the Congress will be happening. I mean, all the delegates are expected in a few minutes. It should be starting at 9 a.m. local time here. And like you said, obviously, the election of the FIFA President, Gianni Infantino, will go unopposed, will happen around 11:30 a.m. So that is obviously the main agenda. But before that, we've had a series of events here and there in Kigali. They have been launching football for schools. They launched a new Pele Stadium. So been quite a busy week for FIFA and everyone involved in football here in Kigali.
One of the items in that busy schedule this week, Eric, has been CAF president meeting with Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, to hand him a special award. What was that about?
The special award was his contribution to football. You can see how Rwanda has really given itself to football. They hosted the CHAN a few years ago, I think in 2018. Now they're here hosting the FIFA Congress. Remember, they also have partnerships with football clubs in the world. They've got the Visit Rwanda initiative with Arsenal, with PSG. Rwanda has given everything in sports. They host the Basketball Africa League. They also host the Tour du Rwanda. I mean, so Paul Kagame has been awarded because of his contribution and his passion towards the game.
It's not the first time, Eric, that FIFA comes to Africa for this sort of thing. Is it any special this time around?
Well, I think because these elections and now it's Africa, like for us guys here, we feel now we're part of football, part of FIFA. It's not that special, but I think with the way football is going and now football going around the World Cup was in Qatar, the other one was in Russia. Many things have been done in the world. There was a FIFA, the International Football Board meeting in Argentina last week. So I think it's a good thing for these things to go around the world. And you remember a couple of years ago it was in Morocco, so this is the second time in Africa. And I think it's making some of these small nations like Rwanda to feel part of football.
There's already been some reforms, for lack of a better term to use at the moment, Eric. This week alone, there's already been discussions among the FIFA members, 211 associations, if I'm not mistaken, about future World Cups, about the future of football. What are some of the highlights that you can point out for us?
I mean, the key thing has been the expansion of the World Cup in 2026. That has been confirmed now by the FIFA Council. I think they met on Tuesday in Kigali. And remember now we'll be having 48 teams from the next World Cup in States and Canada and Mexico. And I think it's big news for Africa because now we've got nine slots and probably another one if we go to the playoffs. And that gives a chance to teams who missed out like last time. Remember countries like South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Algeria would won the Cup of Nations in 2019. One not there. And these are big teams with big players who deserve to be at the World Cup. So I think it's a big win for Africa. But it's more games also for the fans and to see their best players playing at the World Cup.
Okay, let's talk about the business of today then. Gianni Infantino is expected, barring some thing that we do not expect at all, Eric, that he will be FIFA president again. What's the sense you get from the associations here in Africa with regards to him having to be elected, not having a choice? Would they rather have had someone else? Would they rather have had a choice to pick from, another candidate perhaps?
Well, one thing we've seen since he came to office is that he's been very close to Africa. And remember when he came to office, that was when we had the scandals here and there in 2015, and also CAF. That's when we got the new president, I think after Issa Hayatou left the confederation, and with Motsepe now coming in, I think they're very close. Motsepe is a businessman, like you know, and Motsepe has kept Infantino very close. And obviously the other confederations like Asia, we saw during the World Cup in Qatar. So I think there's that close relationship between Infantino and Africa. Remember last year during the CAF General Assembly in Tanzania, they agreed to support him as a bloc, which means those are like 55 votes. So there's that relationship between Africa and Infantino, which makes him like strong and going because he showed a couple of votes here in Africa. So I think, and the fact that he's been bringing some of these things like the Congress to Rwanda, we saw the Club World Cup in Morocco a few months ago. Africa now feels they're part of the global game, and you can see the World Cup now has been expanded. So Africans, they have a reason now to support him. Yes, they may not be talking a lot about him going unopposed, but we know there are a few people here and there who could be asking why there's no one who's going against him. But those are questions that will be asked today during the conference and after the conference. You'll be waiting to hear about that.
Okay, let's talk about going forward. Then I know it might be too early to talk about another term after this one that's expected to start today for Gianni Infantino, but he's speaking about 2031. It's not a popular view or a popular expression from Infantino that a lot of people are looking at to say, why are you staying up until that long? But how likely is it that he will stay up until 31?
Well, I don't think he's going to go really so easy until 2021 because I think the next elections in 4 years, I think we may have other candidates now, like let's say from Europe, from US, because China people have seen there's no one who was to challenge him. So I think people will come out and try to challenge that in the next election because he's been there now for quite long now. When he came in the first time, when they were sorting the issues with the likes of Sepp Blatter, and now his first term from 2019, I think there should be second term officially. So I think there should be questions here and there, but we'll see in the next couple of years.
Eric Njiru, appreciate your time this morning. He's talking to us live from Kigali, Rwanda, where the 73rd FIFA Congress is set to be held today, where incumbent FIFA President Gianni Infantino is set to be elected for a third term.